name is Brooklyn Martinez, and I'm your fill-in sports anchor for the evening. Now that fall sports are back, we have a lot of Mountain West football action going on this Saturday, including none other than the Green and Gold opening up the gates to Canvas Stadium for the first time this season. Let's dive in. The Rams will be taking on their next-door neighbor, the University of Northern Colorado. Now, both of these teams are coming into play with a 0-1 record. However, CSU should 100% win this game. Northern Colorado wasn't able to take the dub in a single game last season, ending with a 0-11 record. The Rams, on the other hand, were able to take 5 wins, finishing 5-8. Northern Colorado is led by Ed Lamb for just his second season as a Bear. Lamb has had a rough time planting his feet with the team, still looking to break that heavy losing streak. Now, a couple of Bear faces might look familiar, and there's a reason. They used to wear green and gold. Peyton Polson put up 3 tackles as a UNC linebacker Week 1, and former walk-on Van Shield, after making his off-season transfer Week 1, brought him 80 yards and 11 carries. For those attending, wear your orange and celebrate with some annual Ag Day barbecue. Moving on to the Ducks and the Broncos, Boise will be headed over to play in Autzen Stadium to take on some tough competition. Both of these teams took a win last Saturday. The Broncos finished the 2023 football season with an 8-6 record, while the Ducks concluded 12-2. Personally, I'm going for the upset and will say that Boise has a slight edge on this matchup, as Ashton Jeanty scored 6 touchdowns against the SBC school, Georgia Southern, this past weekend, and the Broncos pulled off the 56-45 win. As far as Oregon goes, they struggled in their first game as Big Ten members. Quarterback Dylan Gabriel threw for 380 yards and 3 touchdowns to make his Oregon debut. Nonetheless, Oregon pulled off the win 24-14. Although Oregon was held at high expectations for this season, Duck fans are worried the team is not going to be everything that they had hoped for. Next, we move on to the Beavers taking on the Aztecs down in the Golden State. They both come in 1-0, but San Diego State concluded 4-8 last year, while Oregon State ended 8-5. These teams do not see each other very often, only facing off a handful of times in the last few decades. Unfortunately for SDSU, that means it has just been about 50 years since finding success over Oregon State. Now, based on that, you might feel more confident in your prediction, but who knows now that SDSU has brought over CSU's former standout wide receiver, Lewis Brown. And lastly, San Jose takes on Air Force just 2 hours south of Fort Collins. The Falcons are favored at 5.5, which feels fair if expecting SJSU to struggle putting points on the board. The Spartans absolutely have a fourth quarter second win trend in their favor, but need to keep high energy throughout the game if they want to pull off a win. Another huge aspect that could make or break this game is rushing yards. Both teams are great with the ball on the ground, but need to keep trekking forward if expecting to outrush their opponent. Not only is San Jose State undefeated since the 2022 season when rushing more than 30 times, but Air Force is winless on that same timeline when allowing 120 or more rushing yards. This could be an absolutely fun game to watch if you find yourself tuning in Saturday evening. But Rams, for those of you in Mountain West Country, I hope you have an incredible, safe, fun, and festive football weekend. Don't go anywhere just yet, because when we come back, our investigative reporter, Bailey Borkowski, will fill you in on the role AI is playing in the upcoming election.